Look at him. Look at him. Oh, I do think he's funny. Look at him. Look.
Let's put the sponsor hat on. Durianrider.com. Just come back from a bit of a ride here. This Gore-Tex jacket I got in 2001 when I was living in London. Still going strong today. Gore-Tex jacket. Man, it's killer. I've rode around France in this jacket. This jacket has been across Australia. This is 22 years old, this Gore-Tex jacket. Just goes to show you how many winters I don't do. Let's talk about how I became the most successful YouTuber ever. Define success, Durianrider. It's not my over 400 million views I've had across the platform on YouTube, etc. It's not my 200 plus K subs or whatever. It's not all the money I've earned, blah, 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 blah. It's not all...
Bless him. He's such a narcissist. He's like unabashed. He's unabashed.
The YouTube creators I've created, and I have created more million plus subscriber count channels, or I should say, let's take that back. I've created more six-figure earning YouTubers than anyone else on the platform. That's not my success. My success is I fucking love being on social media. I love it.
You can tell.
Like, who've been to my...
Do you also love being in your fucking garage with a load of old shoes in boxes and a bike frame?
Events are like, man, you're just like non-stop, man. Non-stop delivering. Fixing bikes. Answering the same questions every single hour of every single day since 2001 or whatever.
He's laughing at that because he knows that's ridiculous, because there's nobody answering questions every hour of every day. But he will argue that at any hour of any given day, someone could be watching one of his videos.
Because I love it. All right. So for me, success is when you get up every...
Although there was an artist who did an hour every day. It was clocking in. It was, I think he was Korean. I can't even remember who the fuck his name was. Sorry to this artist. But a performance artist who did, he might have been, maybe he was Chinese or from Hong Kong. The point being that every single day for an hour, every day, at the end, like on the hour, every day, every hour for a year. So every hour of every day for every month for a year, he clocked in. And that sounds like, what? What do you mean he clocked in? That's not bad. That's difficult, not hard. He had to get up in the middle of the night every hour and clock in. Like, he didn't go far because he had to clock in every hour. Like, his art piece was, like, he did these performance art. We'll look at it another time on stream sometime. But he did these really elaborate performance art pieces that involved, like, him suffering in his life. And one of them was clocking in every hour for a year. And it, like, kind of ruined his life. But it didn't. Like, but for that year, it did. You know. Anyway, what am I saying?
Every single day, and you are fucking G'd to start the day doing your job, what you love to do. That's me every day. I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning, just like excited to start the day. I went to bed maybe 9:30, whatever. 5 o'clock, G'd, like excited. Yes, I woke up today. I get to have another day on social media.
Sitting in the garage with all my shoes.
Working on bikes, flipping bikes, doing shoes, doing what I do, coaching people weight loss, all these things I have passion for. And I went to a store today where I get some things from, and I've spent maybe $50,000 there this year, Australian.
You spent $50,000 at a store? That seems a bit... Like, have you got a credit card or what? What's going on? I'm a bit surprised that in your... Because like, you're so excited to work on bikes and flip bikes and sell shoes and coach people with health advice, that you've managed to find time in that schedule to go to the store. Like, if you're spending 50 grand there, maybe they should send someone to you, deliver it. You know, maybe you should just get it off Amazon anyway. But I'm surprised you managed to find... big ups Jessica S, gifting a tier sub. Big ups. Thank you. I'm surprised that you managed to find the time in your busy schedule to go shopping, especially as you love your job so much.
I'd say, from what I've been told, I'm like the number one customer in terms of how much money I've spent through the store, plus all the other people I've sent there. It would, it'd have to be nearing 100k or something. I don't know.
What is it, McDonald's?
But the service I got today was just as Gordon Ramsay would say, fucking shit. Now this is first world problems. And some of the staff in there are bloody awesome. All right, they're on it. They love their job, and some don't like their job. And that brings me to this video inspiration: is if you don't like your job, quit. All right, do what you do love to do.
Which is sitting, talking relatively quietly in your garage so that you don't wake up the other people that occupy the proper rooms in your house that have like cucked you so hard. Like he's going out with, or he was hanging around with this woman, this influencer-looking girl, and he was using her as like, or he might be still. We'll have a look. Part of the content, and like, I think she's cucked him so hard that he has to live in the fucking garden.
Like, I enjoy furniture, but that's not my passion. All right. You ain't going to see me working in a furniture shop. I would rather collect cans on the street. I'd find that more interesting than selling furniture. So people out there, please, 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 do the job that you love the most.
You're saying you love cans on the street more than you love furniture. And I would argue that working with furniture in any aspect has got to be more preferable to working with cans on the street. Don't tell me that. Like, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, but I haven't got a passion for furniture. Yeah, but you don't have a passion for fucking collecting cans. Yeah, I've got more of a passion for that than I have furniture. Really? Really? And you're going to take life advice off this man?
Because you will earn the most money. You have the most money in your bank account. All right? Because you know what happens when you live in your dream life?
You end up sat in your fucking shed with a load of shoes, whispering into a microphone.
And fuck all money. You know what I mean? Like this. Who do you know who earns as much as I do, who's got as much YouTube social media clout as I've had, or have had, mate, you're a has-been, who wears a 22-year-old Gore-Tex jacket? You know what I mean? I love this jacket. Why would I get anything? You know what I mean? I buy Gore-Tex jackets all the time to sell them.
Yeah, always got the old Gore-Tex jackets coming in and out, but this special 22-year-old one, which may or may not be a complete fabrication and a lie, is your only good. Like, you're like one of these millionaires who just drives a rubbishy car because, you know, got millions in the bank, but just drive the rubbishy car. But actually, the truth is that you got yourself a Gore-Tex jacket, like probably a few months back from TK Maxx, found it at the bottom of the wardrobe or some shit, or you've picked it up in Goodwill and it's still in fairly good nick, and you're now trying to blag that you've had it for years. I don't know. Oh, he's going to be like, go back over the fucking videos then, mate. Go and look, there's a video of me in 2017 wearing this fucking jacket, and you fucking not. Like, yeah, all right, Harley. The banana, is this the banana Gore-Tex? Is that why you're wearing it? Is that the Gore-Tex that you had sex with Keely the banana girl in? Or did she cuck you so hard that you were sat out in the back with the banana boxes? Like, look at you, shoebox man.
All right, to other people, but I'm keeping my original one. It still works. So it's just when when you're living what you love to do every day, you save so much money because
Harley loves being a tramp.
Money you earn, you're like, well, what do I want to spend it on? You know, what would I spend my money on? Some old bikes, fruits, vegetables, sugar bags. I bought a 2 kilo bag today of sugar for $2.20. Maybe
a load of shoes.
You know, like, what do I spend my money on, man? Bikes? Bikes are so cheap now. I mean, it's ludicrous. How
are there any shoes in those boxes, or are they all empty?
Cheap, top-end, top-tier bikes are right now. Absolutely. In Germany, in Australia, people send me all these pictures. Oh, I got this SL4 tarmac for $1,000 or whatever, $1,500 Aussie. You know, it's just like, or $700 Aussie. You know, you're right. But the deals are in Germany, the deals are in England, the deals are in New Zealand. All the time people send me these pictures on Instagram. Some of you I get back to, most of you I don't. That's why I created the Durianrider.com coaching group. So if you want questions answered, go there. And I love my coaching group, right? When I click on there, like, I don't even like using the coaching group on my phone because I love the keyboard so I can type in-depth answers. That's why sometimes I'm a little bit delayed in my responses.
When you're allowed in the house?
Because I want to have my laptop, my keyboard, so I can give the best response. I don't want to like blah, blah, blah on the phone and just pop it out. I want to really, really answer it. Let me just check.
So why aren't you allowed to use the laptop and the are you not allowed in the house all the time, Harley?
If this is recording. Okay, this is recording. So I love to do what I do every day. So people out there don't. And why do I have a good relationship with my parents, my mum, and even my dad when he was still alive? Is because I did what I wanted to do, right? If I went to uni and became a lawyer or whatever most parents want you to be these days, or back in the day, and you don't want to do that, you're going to start to resent your parents. You know? That's the worst thing ever. I see this all the time. People doing uni or a job because that's what their dad did or their mum did. Or
Do you not think you might be slightly better off if you had a degree in a job than sitting in a fucking shed with a load of shoes and a bike frame in your banana Gore-Tex that you got from TK Maxx with your do not drive into me helmet hat that you wear? Do you not think that you'd be slightly better off, Harley? I mean, here's talking to me. I didn't get a degree. I did go to uni though. I did sort of try. Sort of. Didn't turn up to all the lectures. Didn't get the degree. Bailed out. But I don't know. I still think it'd be good advice to people to try for that, you know, to attain that. And if you want to work somewhere and a degree helps you work there and, you know, gets you somewhere, that's probably good. And like Harley's on the internet telling people, quit your job if you don't like it and do what you love. And like some people he's talking to may have actually got a degree and maybe working in a job that does pay them a reasonable amount of money. And it might be that like, oh, I wish I could do everything I love all the time. But, you know, there's a bit of a trade-off because I get the money from the job. And, you know, and Harley's like, quit the job, fuck it off, live like me in a fucking, get yourself a room with a load of shoes, Gore-Tex jacket, try being poor for a month. See if that's any better.
Mum thinks that's a good idea, so they do that, but they'd rather be working in a furniture store, or they'd rather be flipping shoes, or rather be a cop, or whatever. Do what you love to fucking do,
right?
And you'll be really good at that.
What about if you can't do what you want to do? And like, I mean, because this is the thing is, right? The funny thing here is Harley is a great example of this. Because maybe in some ways he is still doing what he loves to do, which is like making weird videos on the internet. Like maybe I'm the same, you know, but doing it really, like this video is called How I Became So Successful in Life, and doing it so unsuccessfully. This video's had nearly 5,000 views for Harley, and he's selling ebooks behind it, which are rubbish, don't buy them. Like he's not Joe Rogan over here, is he? He's not some inspirational speaker. It looks like someone who's failed to achieve what they wanted is trying to give life advice to other people, and simply like it's facile. Do what you want. Make yourself happy. Get on with it.
Over time, right? And you will make good money, or you'll make enough money, but you're loving your life so much. How much money do you need? Like I'm happy to sleep on the streets. Now, obviously, none of my girlfriends would be, but you know,
not when your girlfriend's with you. Why? Because your girlfriend lets you sleep in her house, and you don't actually have your own house anymore. Is that what's happening? Or I'm assuming that your girlfriend sleeps in the house and you're not allowed.
Cool with that, right? So it's like,
are you on the street?
I
here?
see these people all the time, you know, and they've got
weird
so
noise?
much money, but they're so fucking depressed. All right, you see them walking around town, they're dressed to the T.
You don't know any people who've got loads of money and are depressed. You're making it up. It's like a pretend character that you're inventing. You walk around seeing them. How depressed are they? I don't know. I've got no concept. They just look unhappy. Yeah, wearing nice suits, looking unhappy. Oh, they're depressed. All those rich people. Like it's like some sort of cliche. You don't know anyone that's rich. You know a few people who are depressed because they've hung around with you, but very similar to Alan. It's narcissism.
Immaculate fashion, you know, they're my age or whatever, and they're fucking miserable. Absolutely fucking miserable. They're stuck in traffic in their Audi or Ferrari or whatever, Lamborghini, and they're fucking miserable. All right. And honestly,
stuck in traffic in their Lamborghini, fucking miserable. Yeah, because that's what it's like when you get to that level, right at the tippy top of, you know, being really rich. You have to go and sit in the 9-to-5 traffic, don't you? And you get a really nice car to sit in the 9-to-5 traffic, but you still have to sit in the 9-to-5 traffic. Like, welcome to 2023, Harley, where people can be successful in a multitude of different ways and may not be forced to live the 9-to-5 rat race grind in order to get a Ferrari. But the fact that you have not got one, I mean, he did a video once where he like drove a bit of his mate's Ferrari down the drive a bit and then pretended it was his for a moment. But like the fact that you're sitting in a racing gaming seat on the floor in your a rocker seat. That's what that is. It's a gaming seat that you sit on the floor. The fact that you're sitting on the floor in a rocker seat in your garage with a load of fucking shoes and not driving a Ferrari is not a measure of your success.
Social media, these people are everywhere, unfortunately.
There's that whistle.
And they're successful maybe in how much they earn or the subscriber count. But you get them to do a live debate, fucking no chance. No chance. I would live debate anyone on any of the topics I talk about. Not that many people got 2 subscribers.
We'll do that, Harley. If you ever want to do that, we will do live debate. If you ever want to do that.
If you're a real person, we'll do a live debate.
I'm a real person.
Because I love it. I love my fucking job, man. All right.
What do you want to debate?
Some strippers asked me to do a podcast with them. I said, yeah, I'll do that. And I'll put it on my podcast because I just enjoyed hearing what they got.
Do you want to debate what you evolved from? Should we put that on the board? Tonight's debate is to ascertain what Harley evolved from, because we're all Homo sapiens, evolved. But you were something else, bro.
What to say? Right? Aussie hunks.
Is that screaming or whistling?
Australia.com. It's just, I love to do it, man. And they're like, oh, could you film some videos for us? I say, yeah, I'll do it for free. And they're like, for free? I'd love to do that. Right? I love making content. So it's just find what you love to do and do that and nothing else. Right?
So I'm going to be a professional. I'm going to be a professional dope smoking, masturbating, chocolate milk drinking. Is that all the things? I think that's all the best things. Masturbating doesn't have to be totally at the top of the list. I can do it with a lady, but preferably with a lady. But you know what I mean. It's not the case. It's not necessarily the best good life advice. I mean, you do have to enjoy what you do. I agree with that as a principle. But I do not think that you simply quit your job and do the thing that you get the most gratification out of 24. I've decided that I'm going to start smoking crack cocaine. As a life choice, because Harley on the internet said that I should quit my job and do what I get the most enjoyment out of, and I do remember that crack cocaine is fucking enjoyable. So I'm going to start doing that and then just sit in this shed, see where that goes. Might end up like Harley if I'm lucky.
Right? Yes, you have dramas and hiccups and bad customer service and first world problems coming. That's normal shit, all right? But overall, do what you love to do, right? And yes, nothing's perfect. Like a relationship, might be your dream person or whatever. There's ups and downs, moods and hormones, and it's just normal shit. But people, please, I plead with you, just get out. If you don't like being a cop, stop being a cop. If you would prefer to be a cop versus lawyer,
Is that screaming that's going on, or is it power tools, or is it a whistle? I worry that he's got someone locked in somewhere now.
Cop, whatever, man. Do what you love to do, all right? Life's so short. And we spend so much of our lifetime at work.
Okay, yeah. There is a funny balance of this, though, right? Because, you could critique this in so many different ways. I know someone who became a criminal defence lawyer, and it took a lot of hard work, a lot of university, and presumably they enjoy it. It might seem like, oh, you're on the rat race, 9 to 5. You have to go in all the time and do your work, and you're in the office, and it's very serious, and you wear a suit, and yeah, but. They aspired to be this thing and they achieved it, and then they're working in the field, and there's a lot more to be done than just you can even aspire further, can't you? There's you can end up being a judge and maybe doing something else in the field. There's so much it doesn't mean that their life is over because they have to go to work 9 to 5. That's not right too. And so there's a lot of people who are working in a field that they don't enjoy, but there's also a lot of people who work in a field that they could enjoy or could sidestep into something they do enjoy. And it doesn't mean that quit your job. I agree, find the thing that you want to enjoy doing and work becomes less of a chore and more of a joy, absolutely. But just quit your job and just sit in the basement and just do what you like. If you really enjoy video games, then fucking just sit at home and play video games. Your life will improve. That's not the case. You do, even if you want to be a video game streamer or anything, you have to put a lot of work in. And sometimes those alternate choices end up being a lot more hard work in some ways. But you put more work in because you're passionate about it, and it feels less like me tonight. Yeah, theoretically, I'm on to 6 hours 40 minutes. If I was just working at McDonald's, I would have had a break. I mean, I've been to the toilet, but you know what I mean. I'm working, okay, but I'm not really like pushed. It's not like the same as if I was working at McDonald's having to go through all the work and all that, is it? And also, I'm not getting paid heavy. Like not loads of tippies tonight. It doesn't matter. I'm joking. But the point being that with Durianrider and his advice, like you probably put more hard work into something behind the scenes if you're passionate about it and it's a joy to you than you realise even, and maybe you don't pay yourself as much, and so there are balances like to this. And like, you can't tell me that someone like, Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, like, you can't tell me that someone like Durianrider doesn't in some way admire and envy their ability to do whatever the fuck they want because they've got millions and millions of dollars, even if to get there they had to put in a lot of hard work along the way, doing some things that, like, I'm sure Elon Musk wasn't necessarily like completely excited by drilling holes in the ground for the Boring Company or something. Or maybe he was, I don't know, maybe I'm tripping on that. Maybe he does stuff that excites him as well, and maybe that's why it works. But I mean, maybe he does, but I'm sure somewhere along the lines he's had to do some things that don't excite him, but he's had to put in the work in order to get where he wants to be. So like, advice cuts both ways. How Durianrider became so successful in life is just by doing what the fuck he likes all the time, riding those bikes, drinking those drinks, maybe doing some steroids, and treating women quite badly, and making YouTube videos about how good he is.
I don't think other people understand how you could just be dead tomorrow or dead today. You might not wake up tomorrow, alright? Why waste another day doing it just for the fucking money?
What is that fucking noise? What is that fucking noise?
I've got to pay the mortgage for the kids, and fuck that, man. The best kids in the world I've ever met came from fucking broke parents, man.
You put in the chat there, band tour and D&D. I'll tell you what, that's interesting as well. Like, let's say, for example, my ultimate thing that I like doing is playing music in a band, and I really would like to just go on tour. Like, I've done a bit of being in a band, and like, when I was younger, and we had limited success, like, in different ways. But it's not that I can just quit my job and just join a band, and then my life works out because I get signed and I just sell loads of records. Like, it could be that, like, you try it. Like, I think you should try things in life. You should have a crack at doing what you want, but you can't just say, right, I'm going on tour around. Like, it's like Ricky Gervais and his film from The Office. It's like David Brent from The Office paying for his own tour and no one turning up. Like, you can't just go on tour and expect everyone to turn up, can you? So, like, you have to accept in life sometimes where there are limitations and things that might not happen. You can't live in a total fantasy world, can you? But I guess for the narcissist, it's a lot easier to suggest that you should just quit your job and that everything will fall into line.
Broke parents, and some of the messed up kids, most drug-riddled kids, came from parents who had fucking coin.
But I'll tell you something else as well. If you don't enjoy your job, I would also say, yes, quit.
It's raining again. I couldn't be happier. Swish.
Nigel
Big
said
ups, Nigel.
please. Tip equivalent to about 20 minutes work in McDonald's.
That's true. I'd be better
Super
off working.
Chucker owes 3 hugs.
I'd be better off working in McDonald's than doing my streams. But I'm not in the long run, am I? Like, it's thank you thank you very much, Nigel. Thank you. And there's also exactly what Durianrider said. Like, I'm actually enjoying myself tonight doing what we're doing. I'm going to cut this stuff and put it up on YouTube. So there's that. But I'm not doing it directly for a £7. I think my life is worth more than £7 an hour. So I'd rather live my life. And I guess I understand financially, as well, that you need, like, it's a very difficult one. I wouldn't suggest that you should just walk out of your job overnight with but if you're feeling like you might want to do that, I would suggest that you look elsewhere for other jobs and, consider different career choices and paths, and be prepared, if you are considering it, that the first couple of years you might not be making a lot of money, but you can do anything to, you can't become a Premier League footballer, but you could end up working in the industry of football, maybe as a coach or, do you know what I mean? Like, there's all sorts of opportunities in different realms. So there's all sorts of opportunities. Nothing is off the table necessarily. Dreams are there to be achieved. Got it. But with realism, if you are going, like, let's say, like, music is a good example, because, like, you might not make it. If you don't make it as a musician, how are you going to financially live? And are you going to be happy living in a garage selling shoes on the side? Maybe you need to have other options within the field of music. I've got a mate who teaches drums, is also in a band, so, like, reasonably successful in both aspects. I think, like, you can find other ways to mean that you're not destitute and you're still working in an industry that you enjoy. Okay, and maybe you can find by doing different things. You find, I really like, with me in hairdressing. It's all about me now, but with me in hairdressing, I did roofing before hairdressing, like roof tiling. I thought I was going to be more suited to be a roof tiler than I realised I would be as a hairdresser. So you've got to try outside the box abstract things sometimes and be like, look, if I'm searching for a job, why don't I do 2 weeks sweeping the floor at the hairdressers and see what the environment's like instead of writing it off? You know, that sort of attitude. I think that's okay as well. So, and also we're lucky in life these days, especially with remote work and stuff like that, that you can do some things that might not be big earners, but you can do a bit of work, or even if it's working part-time somewhere. Like a lot of places like McDonald's or Tesco will let you work part-time, won't they? So, you know, you can balance it. Just to write everything off. And like Durianrider's advice is, quit your job if you don't like it and go and get one that you do like and do something you do like. So there you go. Problem solved. If it were that easy, you know, if only it were that easy. But I don't want to completely write it off, because I agree that you should do things that you enjoy. But if only we were all that lucky, you know, and that privileged.
All right, so do not think that if you have money, your kids are going to have a better future. That's absolute bullshit. Maybe in South Sudan, okay, not in the refugee camp, but otherwise, man, like, that's a big, big lie. And if you know, you know. Or if you've been around private school kids or kids that come from money, you're thinking, damn. Like, I remember when I was a teenager and I had some friends who went to private school, expensive private school, and I was like, damn, I thought, my mum's like, oh, I wish I could have a private school so you would be on drugs. And I'm like, oh, actually, mum, the kids who go to private school, they do some of the most drugs I've ever seen. She's like, no, that's not true at all. That's not true at all.
Still referring back to what it was like talking to his mummy.
And then their parents were police officers or whatever, and we had great times back then. Teenage years, good times.
Going at it.
It just opened my eyes up. Just because your dad's a cop, or you know, you've gone through private school, doesn't mean you've got to be on the straight and narrow. Kids are going to do what kids are going to do. But when I go to the Philippines, where kids are dead broke, you know, like they just, some of the gratitude they got is insane. Right? Insane.
I don't really want to hear about what the kids' gratitude toward you is like in the Philippines, you seedy man. But I understand.
So I reckon if you got kids, raise them in a slum in the Philippines, because those kids turn out, with proper guidance, really good, because they just got...
Do you hear what he's saying? Is he really saying that? If you've got kids, maybe move to a slum in the Philippines, because your children will turn out with a good ethical grounding.
But they're just so well-mannered. You know, like, they just... Some of the gratitude
What's he doing interacting with slum kids in the Philippines? Because I can't imagine he's there on humanitarian outreach work.
Is insane, right? Insane. So I reckon if you got kids, raise them in a slum in the Philippines, because those kids turn out, with proper guidance, really good, because they're just so well-mannered. I mean, you know, like, they're so well-mannered, man. It's like, it's insane. Me and my friend Derek, we went around the slums in Davao City, you know, handing out free vegan food to kids, and we're like, do 10 push-ups, 20 push-ups, and they just drop to it and do it. Imagine going to like some Bel Air or, you know, wherever, Brentwood or something in LA, just say, yeah, I'll give you a vegan pie if you do 10 push-ups. They'll be like, I'm calling the cops, you're a rapist.
This is Durianrider.
Me too. Brittany Higgins, you know, Clem Ford. Like, the Western system, man, is pretty broken. So, end of the day, do what you love to do. Like,
do who you love to do in the Philippines, isn't it?
And when you're doing what you love to do, you don't really give a fuck that much about people's opinions, right?
Even if they think you're a paedophile.
People see me ride my bike around, they're like, you're 46 almost, like, get a license, mate. I'm just like, yeah, whatevs, bro. Whatevs, you know?
I don't think he learned to drive.
I think he...
I know he was driving that car in that video, wasn't he? But he wasn't driving it on the open road. I don't know.
Dovetail to that, I think that... Let me just pause this for a second, see if it's recording. Okay, we're on a winner. All these things are recording. The reason most people don't do what they want to do in life, right? Work in the furniture shop, work at Nike, become a flipper,
halfway through he stopped
designing
it, like,
headlights,
started
whatever.
again.
Most people, they don't do what they really want to do because they fear social disapproval. They fear social disapproval. Your parents are...
No, I would argue it's economic. And also, like, okay, for example, when I was a kid, I thought it'd be nice to work as an inventor. And when I got older, I realised there were people who worked as sort of proof of concept designers, and they make the first... like they might design products themselves, or they might be tasked with designing something around a set of parameters, and they make the first concept design, you know, the first working, like before you get your kettle in the shops, someone designs it, don't they, and they do it on a computer, and then they make the first kettle, and they get the parts, and they do it together, and then they say, how could we mass produce that, and would it work in the factory? And like, okay, we've got a few coming off the production, like this is what the kettle will look like, and you know, like that job, it's almost like an inventor. It requires you to have like a knowledge of textiles, because you might have to literally be innovative in your use of textiles. And CAD design modern times, but when I was looking at it, it would have been graphic design was an entry into it. And like for me personally, like graphic design as an entry point into that career seemed a bit, like, I just didn't really vibe with graphic design necessarily. And like some of the other aspects of that work seemed really interesting, but the bit where you sit down and draw with the pens and the graphic design bit wasn't really up my street. So big ups Blinding the Blind. You had to pop in and say, wow, yeah. Like he's just said about being a pedo, hasn't he? But I would argue that it's not, you know, for some people, it's, for me, that was not necessarily an economic aspect, actually. It was more of an educational pathway aspect. Like the thing I would want to do, like if you could snap your fingers tomorrow and I could wake up and, you know, get out, go to work and turn up at the product design lab of some swanky company, yeah, okay, I'll do that then, yeah. Snap my fingers, let's go. You know, that sounds like fun. But like the road to get there wasn't for me. So I'm not doing that. For whatever different reasons, actually. Like I think economic is a massive factor as well, because some people can't even afford to go to university, and some people need to get a part-time job, not so that they've got some free time so they can mess about with bikes, but because if they didn't, when they're at school, they wouldn't eat, and like, so that makes it harder for them to do their homework, and it makes, like, you know, people end up veering away from school and different career paths that are offered through further education and get into, like, you know, different career pathways that way. I just think it's really ridiculous to sort of just say that it's because you are not confident enough in public that the reason you don't do the work that you want to do is because you haven't got the bottle to sort of publicly state that you want to do it. Like, that's ridiculous. We know it's ridiculous, don't we? Is he a mate of Alan's? Well, the thing that you're seeing this replicating personality. This similarity in the personality, because he's a massive narcissist. Like, this guy is a full-on narc, and so is Alan, and there's the similarities.
Oh, I went to the private school, and you're gonna become a designer for headlamps? Fucking hell, mate! What a loser you are! All this stuff, you know, social disapproval from your parents or whatever. Who cares?
I would have said there was less social disapproval for that, designing headlamps, than riding around on your bike and making YouTube videos, like, and going to third world countries to interact with slum kids.
Smile at your parents, don't be disrespectful, say, yeah, cool, thanks, I appreciate private school, but I'm doing this, you know? Or just agree you're going to do that, and then don't do that, alright? Just move out of home, do your thing. Don't burn bridges, alright? Don't burn bridges with your parents. Don't need to yell at them. Don't yell at your parents, alright? Just let them yell at you, go, yep, cool, no worries, and then do your own thing, alright? Do your own thing, be respectful. Because
you probably want to ask them for money, don't you, what's his name, Harley? You probably want to ask them for money.
Respectful, but do the fucking whatever the fuck you want to do. Except for the drugs. Except for running with the fuck boys and being a douchebag, alright? Except for the high-speed car driving and the drunk driving and shit. Don't do that.
Don't do that. So if you are into motor vehicles and cars or drugs, definitely don't do that. I did cover drugs earlier. I said, why not just do crack? Well, now we've covered it. Not crack. But whatever else you want to do. Like, if you're really into chocolate and you just want to sit at home and eat fucking loads of chocolate, do that. But not the fast cars, and not the... So now we're putting certain parameters on it, almost like parents do. Aren't we? Saying, don't, you know, ignore your parents, say thank you very much, and be nice to them, but ignore them. But now he's saying, yeah, but of course, there are some parameters to this. eventually we'll get round to don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, and why don't you suggest you do this, and maybe what about that, and maybe it's a good idea to, you know.
Up with that. But when it comes to doing the right thing, do that, no matter what your parents say.
Okay. What if your parents are suggesting that you do the right thing, and that it might not sound like the right thing to you because it sounds like a lot of hard work and ball ache, but when you get over the other side, you realise that they had a bit of foresight and, you know, hindsight, and that it might have really helped to take some of that advice, and that you still have choices in your life later on. Like, you know, it's not all black and white all the way. Like, did you not have very good parents here? Like, what's going on?
Or learn the hard way.
What's that fucking whistle?
Alright? Or be a miserable accountant or a miserable
No,
lawyer.
obviously, like, we're not saying like we're living in some strict religious Arabic, or you know, I don't know. I'm picking on particular nations. You know, we're not saying we're living under some strict regime where, you know, your parents like force you to become a doctor and then you end up committing suicide because you're under so much pressure at the fucking university and you find it so difficult. Like, most of us that are listening to this video are watching on YouTube in the Western world, and basically are allowed to choose our career path within a certain, like, you know, broad, like, you get pressure from your parents. I imagine some people do, and a lot of people do, but I imagine under a broad sort of, as long as you're moving forward with something positive in your life, and it's, you know, yeah, I get that. Like, who's he giving this advice to? Is he talking to some, like, you know, like some Chinese kid who's being forced to become an accountant, like, in communist China? Just leave that, stop doing that, and go and make shoes if you like shoes, you fucking knob. Or sit in the garage with them at least.
Yeah, or a miserable person at
or if you like whistling, listen to a load of whistling.
The store who doesn't like their job, but they did it because it pays the bills and it keeps the mum and dad off their back.
Is it possible that one of his neighbours, the thing I'm thinking, you know, earlier he was talking quietly, and I said, why is he whispering into the mic and talking quietly? Because often he rants. Is it that he's sort of outside in the shed cum garden, and he's his neighbours are angry at him for talking all the time through the night, so they hear him talking into his videos and they decide to whistle loudly at their windows to say, hey, you fuck ass, you're doing that again, I can hear you again, I'm going to whistle
back. Fuck that. Alright, social disapproval is the main reason people don't do that. Scared what the friends from school, scared of what the ex is going to say, scared of what the blah 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 the current partner's going to say. Fuck it. Alright, do what you want to do. Do you know what?
Obviously not some of the bad things though. Can we have more caveats? Because
I never ever have a shortage of women in my life.
What?
Because I've got passion, baby. Alright, I've got passion. I do what I want to do every single fucking day.
I don't see any women in this shot. If you're living the Elon Musk Amber Heard drug sex with the other one, like, where are they? Why are you in the garden with the shoes? Like, how are you doing so well sexually and these women are dripping off you, and yet you're in the garden with the shoes?
Hey, women dig that. Alright, I wake up and I decide what I do that day. Alright, no one decides. No one's ringing me up. Harley, you're late for work.
No one depends on you or sees you as dependable enough to expect you to turn up anywhere anymore, Harley. No, that's not happening.
If anyone's ringing me out, that's me. Hey, bro, you're late for work, mate. Get out of bed. Alright,
and that's not happening.
So
no one's calling you.
You know, just do
that. Phone's not ringing off the hook with shoe sales in the morning then.
Do what you love to do, man. Alright, be your own boss in life. And then we all work for someone. I work for my audience, I work for my customers, we all work for something. You know what I'm saying though, right? Be your own boss. Walk your own path in life. The second one, people don't do the lifestyle they really want to do, is situational inconvenience. They're like, well, I live in Norway and I want to work on a tropical beach. Then go to fucking Thailand, alright?
If you don't have any emotional ties to anyone in your life, and you've got a big pile of cash sitting around that you can easily liquidate all of your assets and turn up in a completely new place with no prior knowledge of their culture or custom, set down, immediately start earning the amount of money that you would need to regularly support yourself in that environment, because of course you're not going to suddenly go under in a foreign country, are you? No. Then why don't you just fucking do that? you nutter. Stop complaining. I don't know why you needed this YouTube video to teach you that. It seems like a really simple concept. Like, there is a part of my soul, I don't know about Amsterdam, I've not been there, so I can't tell you, right? But part of my soul is saying to me at the moment, like, I mean, I'm here with my family, yeah, like, there's, like, family business going on as well, and I'm part of it. Like, not, I mean, not like working in a shop, but like, you know, the machinations of people's lives. But part of me does say, like, you know, I could, because with the streaming as it is now, like with tippies as they are now, I could literally rock up in Amsterdam. I've looked into it. I could rent a place for, say, 3 months, try and get the live stream on the streets going a bit, continue what I'm doing now. Like, could afford it. Like, why not just go and live somewhere and experience something different for a bit? Like, I'm considering it, maybe next year. But I don't think that I should just, right, say, fuck it. Abandon everything I'm doing here now, sell everything, and just rock up there now tomorrow. It's just like, it's not that simple. Even if I did do that, I would still have, like, it's not just, like you said, like, even if you gave me £1 million, and well, then I wouldn't need to work, would I? So what would it matter? I'd already be successful in life then, wouldn't I suppose? But it's also, you know, emotional and people and, like, places as well. Like, Harley doesn't really understand that because he doesn't have those attachments.
Well, I'd have to take a pay cut then. Duh. What are you living for? Money? You can't take it with you. You can't take your money with you.
And you can't take shoes with you either.
Look at all the fucking celebrities out there. Robin Williams, all the big names, man, who necked themselves, who failed, absolutely failed in life. Sorry, man, if you've got all that shit going on and you end your life like that, in my opinion, you totally fucking failed.
Wow. It's interesting as well because if you go and earn lots of money, then you can go to these tropical beaches and do stuff like, you know, Kanye West, for example. All these celebrities can kind of go where the fuck he wants now, can't he? I don't know what his personal situation is now, whether he's bankrupt or not, but you know what I mean? Like, you see some of these people, and it seems to me a little bit like, instead of taking all these massive pay cuts and just going and sitting on the beach with a coconut, that by earning fucking loads of money, they could also sit on the beach, but in 5-star luxury. And that all the things you want to do in life are not available to you if you can't afford to do any of them and you're sat on a beach in a third world country. So like again, the advice is not exactly perfect. Robin Williams, yeah, I can't believe he went there, and I don't know why he said that. Like, Robin Williams as well suffered terribly, didn't he, towards the end, both with alcoholism and then actual dementia. So like, I don't know why he should, like, and Robin Williams seemed to have a pretty fucking good time during his life as well. I think he would be happy with us remembering him having a fucking good time. Like, he brought a lot of joy to a lot of people as well, didn't, like you say, exactly like you say, Nigel, and like, he did it because he was having a lot of fun. So I don't know why he's an example of like how not to do it, but don't worry, instead of being loved by millions, immortalized and memorialized in some great cinema, known as a stand-up genius, like Disney films, for Criper's sake, that will, like, they'll be there, you know, for as long as humanity exists, won't they? Yeah, you could have had that, or the other option is to sit in the fucking garage with the shoes. I'm glad that I'm not Robin Williams with the problems he had in his life, and I'm glad that I'm on Team Durianrider, because after I finish my stream, I intend to go and sit in my garage with a load of shoe boxes.
Right, you just totally failed, all right? And that, again, I'm going to lose people with that, but I'm here to share my opinion, okay? Take it or leave it. You know, like, there's so many things to be grateful for in life, and if people just have all that affluence or whatever, and then they're just like done, it's like, okay, cool story, bro. But situational inconvenience. People just say, well, I've got kids and I've got this, and it's like, yeah, great. I agree. It's tougher.
Kids.
Way tougher. Right? But you've designed your life. You chose to have children, okay? It's fucking tough, but watch the video again.
What are you suggesting? Like, this is how Chris Watts got going. This is what Nicole Kessinger said to Chris Watts. Don't get me started. This is what Nicole Kessinger said to Chris Watts. You got kids, yeah? Well, you chose to have kids, so, you know, fucking sort that out. If you want to go and live on a beach, you're going to have to sort that situation out. You know, time to wake up, buddy. You're not going to live the happy life you want to live if you just keep on having, you know, kids. Fix that. What do you mean fix it? It's the life you create. Like, you're telling people that they should upheave their family and chase a dream. I tell you what, I don't think I'll be able to find it on the internet, but there was a program where they went on a tropical island, and it was like Escape to the, it was like Start a New Life, Start a New Life, Nicaragua Island. Let's have that in Google, thanks. This is a fucking awesome story, this one. I should do it as a video, but they took it all off the internet. Nicaragua Island TV show UK. No Going Back. No Going Back. Have you ever heard of No Going Back? It was a TV show in the UK, and the idea was that you went out, you go out, okay, so this is so fucked up. I don't know if you can find the episode. I don't know. We'd have to like look into it in the future, but I'll just quickly tell you the story. This family, I can't remember, Britain with her husband and children. So they're her children and husband, Jane Gaskin, yeah. No Going Back, Jane Gaskin. Let's see if I can get it. But I don't think, because I think they had it all removed off the internet. No Going Back. Nope, there's nothing about it on YouTube. I should do a video about it, but I haven't got the backing footage, and finding the actual episode, they removed it. There are some news articles about it though. There are some news articles. So let me just quickly tell you about what happened with the backing of a BuzzFeed article, I suppose, from 2014. If this will load up. The image is no longer available, you see. Look, the backing images and stuff, you're not getting everything. Image is no longer available. They had it taken off the internet. Right to disappear and stuff. It's annoying the piss out of me, but we got this one, this picture, this bad picture from the past. But so what basically happened was there's a TV show, and you go out into, like, let's say, No Going Back. I've always had a dream to be running a restaurant in Spain. And so they say, right, we're uprooting your family, we're all going to Spain, and you're going to run a restaurant, and there's no going back. You've sold your house now, so you better make it fucking work. This is your dream. And so in principle, like a bit like those programs do, you know, like it went well for some people, and they went out and lived their dream life in Spain. And I'm so glad I didn't, you know, this is how it all worked out. And for this family, this woman, this former bunny girl, she had great big boobies, I'll tell you that. She was parading around with them. It's part of the story. Right, she was a bit of a sort, let's say that. Not being sexist or anything, it's part of the story. And her husband, who seemed like a bit of a weak-minded and weak-willed and like not a very strong-willed sort of chap, decided that they should go out to Nicaragua and buy an island, and they're going to set it up as a hotel holiday island, and it's their perfect island in Nicaragua. And God help them, they had these 3 poor children, right? And obviously on this island in Nicaragua, there's fucking nothing. Like, there's no conveniences or anything. They've got their own island, and they're trying to build a fucking... Like, the guy must have been loaded. And what happened in the episode is this woman started shagging this man, like this dodgy, scary-looking Nicaraguan man. Like, this big, dodgy, scary Nicaraguan man. Like, there's no security on the island. Like, these people have got machetes. Yeah? Like, these, like, Nicaraguan builders that are there to help them on the island build shit with machetes. And they're just like this family from England. And like this woman starts shagging this Nicaraguan man, and then her husband dies. He catches a fucking tropical disease and dies. And then in the end, I think the children end up going back to England, but I don't know what happened to her. We'll have to look into it another time in the future to see if we can get any further details on it. But it was a fucking... Like, I remember the episode, I watched it. It was back in the day on the telly, so, you know, I had no way of recording and remembering to put it on YouTube, but it was absolutely, it looked like a horror what they were doing out there, living in these huts in the jungle on this island with, for me, the constant fear of these scary like these builder people that they'd hired to help them, that were running around with machetes, that she was shagging one of them, and like, I don't know what the husband was playing at, like, you know, having this going on, and they were living in like sort of sweltering poverty. The kids were just running around on the beach just fucking about, like they were drinking a lot as well. She was always drunk. It looked like hell. Like, she thought it was tropical paradise. She was getting shagged by Mandingo, and the kids were running loose, and you know, her husband was paying for it all, like her own tropical paradise. But it wasn't really, like, that's only through the beer goggles of her while she's getting shagged. But for everyone else, it was a scary, weird place, and I really worry for the safety of those children during the whole of it. So that's how it can go completely fucking wrong. No going back. We'll look into it another time on the internet. Now I've said it, someone else will make a video about it. Oh no. But it was a really, I can't find the actual episode, and from what I remember, because I did research it in the past, I think they had it taken off and removed because of the tragic story of how he ended up dead. But that was a review of it in the past there on the TV, right? That one hasn't got removed for some reason, so that's good. Let's go back to Durianrider telling us how successful he is, and how he didn't end up on a tropical beach somewhere having his missus shagged by this scary dude with a machete, having spent all his money on beach huts and booze.
You know, how much money do kids really need? Some bread, some fruit, some rice, some sugar, some tomato sauce. They don't need new clothes all the time, right? They be spoiled fucking brats. Give them a new pair of shoes every year.
He obviously doesn't have children and understand the pressures that parents go under to try and provide. Like, you don't understand what it feels like for your child to feel bullied or victimized at school because they haven't got the right shoes or something like that. And as silly as it's stupid as it sounds, and as a person that I don't have kids, but I understand these pressures. Like, I understand that, like, you would feel, rather than explain to your child about how social pressures and norms and values mean that you shouldn't necessarily need to have the right pair of trainers, instinctively in your heart, as a loving parent, you'll say, is it just a pair of shoes that you want that will make things better in you, you know, stop these people being mean to you? I will buy you 10 pairs of shoes. I would buy you 100 pairs of shoes if I could. I do not want to see you upset. Like, you know, there's other mechanisms at work here than social pressure. And like, I know it's wrong in our society, and, you know, kids shouldn't have to feel like this, and other kids shouldn't be bullying them, absolutely. But like, at the same time, Durianrider not understanding the love a parent has and wanting to give things to their children, and like, this is why people work, to give their children a better life, and like, you know, make sure that they have a choice of different clean clothes, nice things, like nice presents at Christmas. He's saying basically, don't worry about kids, they don't need stuff, because I'm a narcissist and I'm the one that needs all the stuff. All my boxes of shoes. You'll notice there's no small sizes for kids, because kids don't need new shoes. Fuck them.
They get too small, cut the fucking toes off their shoes. Oh, what will my neighbours think? Fuck the neighbours. Are your neighbours paying your rent? Then who gives a fuck what they think? You know, my parents are paying my rent, and you're a fucking adult? Fuck that. Alright? You should be paying your own way. How you gonna feel self-esteem if you're just like sponging off your parents?
Well, how are you going to do that if you decided to just simply quit your job out of nowhere because a man on the internet said you should? How are you going to feel self-esteem if you're sat in your garage trying to sell shoes daily? And on your grind, I imagine a box of shoes, let's say you make like whatever percent. I mean, he's got a grift on the go where he's got like a job lot of some dodgy fake shoes off the internet or some shit. But in the real world, like, you know, you've got to sell, like, let's say you're making a markup of like $10 or $20 a box maximum on boxes of shoes like that. Now, you can't be, like, how are you making that markup even in the real world with the full market of shoes that are available out there from massive companies? Like, you're not making big markup. And like, so you have to sell what, 4 or 5 boxes a day? Like, how are you selling 4 or 5 boxes a day of those shoes? And then you have to ship them out. Are you shipping them? Are you running this like shipping operation from your lab? I don't know if that's just a prop, to be honest, because like, this can't be a viable business. It simply can't. If you want to live any sort of lifestyle in the Western world, you're better off, rather than fucking about with those shoes, you're better off doing part-time at McDonald's, hating it, but enjoying talking to the people on shift, You know, if you hate McDonald's, work in a fucking different place. But there are places you can, like, I used to think bar work was alright, because at least you get to talk to people. I mean, I'm not drinking now, so I probably would hate that now, but like, find somewhere you can enjoy talking to the people and just deal with it, and then you've got money to go and do things. Like, self-esteem. Look at him. How'd you find the self-esteem from your yellow coat and your orange hat and your boxes of shoes? It's because you're a narcissist and you're living in a fantasy world.
Fuck that, man. Alright? Fuck that. Again, I lose people, but I'm going to give you the tough love, man. Alright? I'm going to help you. If you want to live your best life, grind it, man. Hustle.
That is the exact words of a narcissist. I'm doing this for your sake. You might not be enjoying it, but I'm doing it for your sake. So I know we've had a big row and I've said horrible things to you. And I know that you feel bad, but don't, because I'm doing it for your sake. And it's tough love. So in fact, it's good that I'm doing it for you. So if anything, I should be praised for making you feel bad.
Hustle. Provide value. And when I mean hustle, I don't mean fucking scamming people. I mean like providing incredible value. Honest value. Right.
For what? What's the value proposition here? I don't remember you offering me anything. I'm not buying your shoes. Is it the ebooks that you've got in the bottom of the thing? What is it? What do you want me to buy here? Durianrider does have a click-through rate, doesn't he? He does advertise in the bottom here stuff that he gets commission on. Cycling tips ebook, which he makes fat dollar on because it's basically a load of nothing for easy money on the internet. He's pushing the ebook, I suppose. Is that it? What do you want? Durianrider shop ebooks. Yeah, it's ebooks. Is that it? Is that how you become so successful?
Honest value, man. And
value.
The money you make from that, you'll cherish.
Make
right?
from
When
what?
I'm buying my rice and my cereal and my bananas and my sugar and my fucking vegan lollies, I love that shit, man. It feels good. I don't need the
Other staple foods.
overtly excessive brand new material corporate lifestyle because I'm not a oppressed motherfucker, right? I love my life so much.
It's not that black and white, is it though? Because I don't live an oppressed corporate lifestyle, but I'm doing I think quite a lot better than you. I mean, I'm not like some rich chuffer. I'm not Elon Musk tooting my trumpet here, but I just think most of us are doing better than you, because even people who are sat in their garage have at least got the self-awareness to realise this is pretty shit. I shouldn't be sat in my garage. I need to sort this shit out. Whereas you seem to be rolling in it and reveling in it and thinking it's great and trying to encourage other people to sit in their garages with boxes of shoes.
Every day I wake up.
I am glad I did this before bed, because this has cheered me right up, actually. This is much more the energy that I used to enjoy ripping Alan on. So, yeah, maybe it is about time, place and subject. Harley, you are a special case. I know you're watching this. Not live right now on Twitch, but when I upload it to YouTube, I know you're watching this. And you do cheer me up, so thank you. Thank you for that. And I look forward to more. Like, the cycling videos are boring for me. They are boring, and you and I both know that more videos that I can react to, yeah, better, aren't they? Better, because you like this. So, if you want to come on the show, maybe the door might be open for you to come and answer some tough questions on the show. That could be arranged if you want. Oh, a debate. No, I'll just ask you questions, you can answer them. How about that? I don't have to debate you. Oh, what about a debate? You'll lose a debate then. You won't be even. I'm too scared to have a debate. What about treating you like a fair crack, like a guest, rather than having to debate you and argue with you? Like, obviously, you know my stance on some of your behaviour, but like, if you want to come on, I'll ask you about like where it all started for Harley. You know, about what went on the early days of YouTube, how you got big, how you became so successful. What about that time when everyone called you a rapist? I'll ask you the questions and you can just tell me the answers. Maybe I'll ask you a few questions after you've told me the answers. It won't be an argy-bargy shouting fest debate. I'll give you the respect to answer the questions in a normal sort of way, if you want. That can be arranged. We can do that. We've got an email. It might be in the description of this below, or just continue to watch the evolving story of me versus Harley on the internet. If Harley continues to provide content that is interesting enough for me to react to. Obviously, cycling tips and the new wheels and what this chuffer did on his bike is not really You know, what do you want me to do with that? It's like Angry Alan crawling into his shell, safe space. People can't have a pop at me because I'm talking about cycling wheels.
Type G to get going, right? And that's what I recommend people do. So that's my definition of success. How I became the most successful YouTuber on the planet. I wake up every single day absolutely G to do what I do.
So, is it possible that this is all just a facade? No, because we've seen that Harley lives like this. You know, there's lots and lots of evidence to say that this is the real Harley. I've got no shadow of a doubt in my mind to believe that this is the real Harley. To be accused of narcissism on the internet, to have the people in your community, or as was community, disregard you and write you off for being an aggressive narcissist, potentially dangerous sexual predator, and then to do a video called How I Became So Successful in Life, and to, with a straight face into the camera, to say, you know, how I became such a successful... This is narcissism, and yet in the face of, like, in the face of being accused of being a narcissist, I'm going to tell you how fucking good I am. It's almost like an ironic parody, but it's not. He really is this.
And that's what I recommend people do. So that's my definition of success. How I became the most successful YouTuber on the planet. I wake up every single day absolutely G to do what I do. G to meet people in the street. Every day people are like, hey, Durianrider, waving the car, boom, boom.
Because they want to fucking get you out of the car and like, stop you fucker. It's you again. Wait, hang on. You said you didn't drive a car. You said you're on a bike all the time.
Boom, every single day, whether I'm in Adelaide or Sydney or Thailand or wherever. Sometimes I'm like, how the fuck did that person recognize me?
Oh wait, they see you while they throw things at you out their car while they're driving past and shout, you're a twat. How do they recognise you? Because you're a notorious wanker, and whenever you're in town, people are like, oh, look, that dickhead's riding his bike around again. Have you seen that dickhead? Everyone knows you. Because
I'm wearing maybe a different sort of jacket or whatever. And
keep your kids in. That fucking dickhead's riding his bike around.
It's like, damn, they fucking spotted me, man. Like that I was in Marrickville, Sydney, sitting behind a hedge. And this is like a small angle of visibility, and so I was like, Durianrider! I was like, how the fuck did they see me?
Because you've been told you can't hang around by that play park. You've been told that hanging around in the bushes by the playground is not on. And there's been calls, people have reported you, and the police, they saw you in the bushes through a crack. There's a guy in there. There is as well, right? Get him.
You know, I was just sitting there and they're waiting for Natasha. Maybe they spotted the bikes. But I love it, man. They're like, I love some other YouTubers like, how do you deal with the fans? I hate seeing people in real life. It's like, get the fuck away from me. I was like, man, you're in the wrong job.
You want to get some fans, mate.
You're in the wrong job. I've had some high-profile YouTubers say that, and I'm like, man, fucking hell. Anyway.
You obviously don't have the same crowd response that some of the high-profile YouTubers have, though, do you, Harley? I mean, when I walk in my local town, it's probably, like, if I went for a walk every day, probably 4 days out of 5, I'd run into someone that knows me or I know, like, to say, hello, all right, how's it going? Yeah, and let's have a little chat, you know. But that's not because I'm famous or anything, it's because I live in my local town. Do you know what I mean? Harley's not achieved the level of fame where people are like, you know, can I have an autograph?
Do what you love to do. Fame and money won't make you happy.
But you don't know because you haven't got either.
And it'll get you sex, get you laid, but eventually you'll get bored of that and you need something with more substance, alright?
You could argue that for a while there on the vegan scene on YouTube, Harley was relatively well known on the vegan scene in YouTube. But I remember being a vegan and watching vegan videos on YouTube and being introduced to this whole load of chuff by a friend of mine who was a vegan and said, have you watched these videos? And I said, you know what? No, I haven't. Which is a surprise to me because they've been on the internet for a long time and so have I, and I've been vegan and I've not been watching them. So when I discovered them, it wasn't like they're so notorious that every vegan on YouTube knows who they are. Far from it. And then if you're not on YouTube, which is fucking loads of people, and you're not a vegan, which is also fucking loads of people, then you also don't know who he is. So like, he's like niche. He's like niche within a niche, and cycling as well on top of it. Like, you know, he's not and never has been massively popular and well known. But if you were on the vegan scene on YouTube at a certain time for a couple of years there, while Freely the Banana Girl was well known, he rode on her coattails a little bit. Big claim to fame.
You know, trust me on that one. It's social disapproval. Get over it. Situational inconvenience. Change it. Make it fucking happen. Hustle, grind, provide value, and your gifts always make room for you. Your gifts will always make room for you. I'll always have a place to stay. I'll always have money trickling in. I'll always have food in my belly.
Harley will, because I believe throughout whatever success he had on YouTube, he managed to secure a property. And I think that he uses that and leverages it either to loan money or to allow people to stay there, as he has done in the past. Maybe he sublets the property, or maybe I think he owns it. And then the trickle of money coming in, like he says, is he maintains his YouTube channel, regular uploads, and it might not be lots of views per video, but as a massive, ongoing, prolific body of work, it just provides this sort of like $100 a month or so, maybe a bit more, in ad revenue. And over the time, he's had a few viral videos that have provided a bit more. But he's got this like baseline trickle of like, let's say $100, $200 a month. And in third world countries, you can eat like a king for a little bit of money, can't you? So spending your time on holiday in wherever he was saying, that helps save money. And also he lives, like he said, sugar, rice, super noodles, you know, ramen. He's not, he probably doesn't eat ramen, he didn't list it, but like he pretends to eat a very basic subsistence diet because it's part of his health regime. But in actual fact, he eats a subsistence diet because then he doesn't have to spend any money on food because he doesn't have much money, which is kind of sad in a way. But I imagine he does also eat other shit. I imagine he's probably not even really vegan behind the scenes. I imagine like he's scarfing down Big Macs every now and then. But like, yeah, super Harley Durianrider, successful, entrepreneurial, sat in his garage with the boxes of shit. I just, like, there's something so tragic about it, isn't there, as well? And I'm laughing at him. He, like, some of the, when we go through it, which, you know, in the future with some of you on the channel, because a few of you on the main B-side Battery Exhausted channel, you know, I'm trying to introduce these chuffers to the channel, get them going, and we can do a bit of the overview of the big story. He's been accused of some quite bad stuff, so a figure of ridicule, a lolcow, but also potentially a sex criminal. So I'm laughing at that because, as he well knows, like, that's things that have been accused of, and he said it in his own videos as well. He just said it today, didn't he, and stuff. So
because I've got gifts and value to bring people who appreciate that. Okay, people who appreciate that. Some people see Nike shoes and I don't want that. That's sweatshop stuff. I'm going to wear Asics, which is made in the same fucking factories in China as the Nike stuff. You know, but some people are like, I want Asics, blah, blah. There's...
Aren't you selling those sweatshop shoes? Aren't there boxes and boxes of them behind you? This
is a metaphor here. There's what you bring to the table. Some people are like, ugh, don't want that. Some people are like, yes, come on in. Okay? So go where you are valued.
What he's saying is, this is the same as Alan the narcissist. On YouTube, you can use a scattergun approach. You reach a lot of different people, and then the ones that stick and are susceptible to your manipulation and your particular brand of egotistical drivel, they stick around, don't they? So ignore the people like me and the rest of the vegan community that critique you or have written you off, and just stick to the ones that are foolish enough to fall into your spider web of lies. It's good, isn't it? It's a good system. It's like the Nigerian prince scam, because it's a scam.
Stop hanging around or working for or just being around the energy that doesn't appreciate you. Right? Well, no one appreciates me at all. And it's like, well, get some skills, provide some value.
Go down a third world country and give a starving child a vegan pie and make them do press-ups in the street. If they become compliant and follow you around, maybe invite them back to your hotel room for more press-ups. You weirdo.
And go to where you are appreciated.
By the third world children in the street for giving them food.
Alright.
Alright.
Thinking about that. And, I mean, there's even if you're a fucking fentanyl fiend on the street in Pennsylvania, man. Philadelphia, rather.
If you're a fentanyl fiend on the street in Pennsylvania or Philadelphia, or he had a specific place in mind there, so he didn't have to correct himself. Anywhere would have, like, if you're a fentanyl fiend on the streets of anywhere, but yeah, corrected himself there. Even if that, probably best just to get off the fentanyl and go and move to a tropical island somewhere, and maybe set up a business selling exotic lap dance, exotic lap dance pimp, selling wonderful paintings that you make that go for millions of dollars. Oh, I'll tell you what, I might just be the next Banksy.
Alright? There's still people out there who are going to appreciate you. Alright? I don't know why, but there is still...
Alright, no, go where people would appreciate you. Yeah, if you're a fentanyl fiend and you're sitting on the streets, go where people appreciate you. Even if that means you have to suck their dicks under the bridge for $10 a pop. Like, at least they're being appreciative, aren't they? Like... What is this advice?
Still is, okay? But if those people are just lost beyond words, it's sad to see. So much, oh man, it's crazy. Anyway, don't get me started on that one. Do your best to be as sober as possible for as long as possible, okay? Especially when it comes to street drugs or prescription drugs.
I kind of agree with that. I smoke weed, but, like, you know, drinking is really not helpful. Yeah, so I don't.
For the most part, you know, have weeks and months and years of sobriety. Like, get your brain to thinking better and go to bed as early as you can. 8 o'clock bedtime is going to change your fucking life.
Why didn't you say that at the start? That could have been the how I became so successful in life. Could have been a cheeky video about going to bed at 8 o'clock. That would have been a much better video. Instead, he went on that fucking weird rant and he said about being a paedophile. Wait, no, he didn't say about being a paedophile. He said about going to third world countries and about how compliant the children were and about how well-mannered they were and about how they'd do anything, basically anything for food. You could, for example, make them do press-ups in the street for a vegan pie. So, yeah, that's what I'm taking from that.
Go to bed at 8 o'clock every single night for a month, like a mad person, and your life quality will fucking transform. Just with that simple change. Cost you zero.
So if you're sitting on the streets in Philadelphia and you are hooked on fentanyl, you probably want to try going to bed earlier, regularly. And if you do stick to it, listen, none of doing that fentanyl whenever you feel like it. Bedtime at 8 o'clock, thank you very much. And see how things improve. Oh, you don't have a bed. Well, street time. You know, bedtime, street time, cardboard box time, whatever the fuck it is. Make sure you're asleep by 8 o'clock. Take a load of that fentanyl, take extra fentanyl, get yourself right to sleep for 8 o'clock every night. That's the tip.
8 o'clock bedtime, lights out, phones off, boom. Game fucking changer.
Good video, Harley.
Navigating
Good
past
video. There's
adverts
an
on your
advert, so he
favorite
gets
websites.
the ad. Shut up.
Let's put...
Look at how bad he looks at the start. Look at it. Oh man, look at what's going on with him. Why does he look so bad at the start? And did he look any better during the episode? I think I settled into it and he started to look better. Has he got a filter on, do you think? Because he looks fucking fucked up. Like, talking about fentanyl in Philadelphia, like, or wherever. Like, this guy looks like he's just come out the pen having done a 40 stretch. Like, what happened to the last 10 years of my life? Look at him. Anyway, yeah, no ad hominem attacks. Don't want to be popping at somebody for how they look, really. But that's a cut for YouTube. And that's going to end today's session, I think. That's a good idea. I think 7.5 hours of this nonsense is more than enough for one day. I consider myself to have put in a good shift. I do enjoy it. I do. Based on what Durianrider was just saying, I'm having a great time getting up and thinking, yes, let's do a stream. Got lots of ideas, lots of stuff to come in the future, God willing, and hopefully we can keep pushing the more serious stuff somewhere, and even the more fun stuff as well. So thanks for being here, and I'll see you tomorrow for DUS. So I do need to get some sleepies, and on with another supercharged week of super chuffing. Yeah, I hope you have a good nanites. Everyone seems to have gone quiet in chat, 'cause I think it's nanites really, isn't it? So you be good, and if you can't be good, you're naughty.